Greetings everyone and welcome. Today I will tell you the story of Fallout 1, which is the first game of one of the best post-apocalyptic video game franchises ever. Fallout, a post-nuclear role-playing game, or Fallout for short, is a role-playing game developed by Interplay Entertainment and its division Dragonplay, later called Black Isle Studios. The game was self-published on September 30, 1997. The three main characteristics of the game are a post-apocalyptic environment and story, tactical gameplay, and last but not least, the role-playing interaction. Now that we have an overview of the game, let's go deeper. The gameplay, and more specifically the combat of the game, is turn-based, which means we must be very wise with the approach we take and make use of any tactics that we can to win the fights against the dangers of the wasteland. Our character can be anything we want, from a charismatic rogue to a deadly sniper to a brute who's more brawn than brains, all based on the attributes we pick during character creation. Sounds good? That's barely scratching the surface. Imagination is the limit. Fallout uses a character creation system called Special. Special is an acronym of Strength, Perception, Endurance, Charisma, Intelligence, Agility, and Luck. These are the 7 primary attributes of every character in the game. They are used to determine the skills and perks of the given character. There are 18 different skills in the game, and those are ranked from 0% to 200%. Every time the player gains a new level, they will be awarded skill points to be used to improve their skills with, equal to 5 points plus twice their intelligence. The player may choose to tag 3 of the 18 skills. A tag skill will improve at twice the normal rate. Now let's get a bit into the skills. There are 6 combat skills, and those are small guns, big guns, energy weapons, unarmed, melee weapons, and throwing. There are also 8 active skills, which are first aid, doctor, sneak, lockpick, steal, traps, science, and repair. Also, the last but not the least important are the 4 passive skills, which are speech, barter, gambling, and outdoorsman. I won't get into detail about skills since the names are quite self-explanatory. I will let you discover what each one of those does, but if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me in the comments below. Leveling up isn't the only way to raise your skill levels. Books found throughout the game could provide a permanent boost to certain skills. However, after you reach a certain level, this will no longer be effective. That is when skill trainers come into play. How high skills can be developed is also related to the intelligence attribute of our character. For example, a character with a low intelligence won't be able to increase their science skill as high as a character with high intelligence. Some skills can also be improved while having certain items equipped. For example, equipping lockpicks would improve lockpicking skills. Chems can also temporarily boost the player's character skills, however, they often have adverse effects such as addiction and withdrawal. As skills grow high in rating, they begin to cost more skill points to increase. Besides the skills that I mentioned before, there are also traits. Traits modify different aspects of gameplay, including but not limited to primary attributes, skills, and derived statistics. I mentioned the first already, so let's talk a bit about the derived statistics. The derived statistics are attributes that are directly based on a primary statistic but may also be altered independently, for example by perks and traits. For example, the carry weight derived statistic is directly based on strength but can be lowered by the small frame trait or increased by the strong back perk. So there are a lot of possibilities, and as I said before, imagination is our only limit in this game when it comes to character building. Traits always have both positive and negative results depending on the choices. For example, with the good nature trait you gain a plus 15% bonus to first aid, doctor, speech, and barter skills, but you will also get a minus 10% modifier to the starting combat skills, which are a lot. Small guns, big guns, energy weapons, unarmed, melee weapons, and throwing. This is only a one-time bonus though. On the other hand, we also have perks. In Fallout 1, perks are acquired every 3 levels and some of them have multiple ranks with stacking benefits. It is possible to obtain perks that the player character doesn't qualify for by the use of chems. At character creation, the player may choose 2 different traits and perks for their character. traits are special character backgrounds. Most traits have profound effects on gameplay. Once a trait is chosen, it is impossible to change except through the mutate perk that lets them change one trait one time. Now that we know the basics of the gameplay mechanics, I can also tell you about the turn-based system. The combat is based on action points, and those determine how many times we can move, fire weapons, reload, fetch equipment from our backpack, and so on. Those points are closely related to agility. If we have a high level of agility, we will have plenty of action points to use in battle. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic world, following the Great War, a nuclear war that occurred on October 23, year 2077. The war lasted less than 2 hours but caused immense damage and destruction. Before the Great War came to the Resource Wars, during which the United Nations had disbanded, a plague rendered the United States paranoid and Canada was annexed. Long story short, the Great War results were devastating on both sides, as they employed both biological and chemical weapons that ultimately destroyed most of the world. Before the war, among many other details, the most important one is the vaults. The vaults were created by Vaultec Corporation, that was a pre-war defense corporation that won the federal government contracts to design and implement a network of bunkers known as vaults. These bunkers were designed to protect the population of the United States in case of nuclear holocaust. The vaults and their inhabitants play a critical role in the story of Vault, as most survivors of the Great War are vault dwellers themselves. And our protagonist is no exception, and I will tell you more about it very soon. The present year is 2161, 84 years after the Great War. We found ourselves in the protagonist's home, Vault 13, which happens to be in Southern California. In our travels, we'll encounter several factions and groups, over 20 of them in fact, so I'll just tell you about the most important and interesting ones. The Brotherhood of Steel, which is a post-war techno-religious organization with chapters operating across the rings of America. The group has its roots in the United States Armed Force, founded by a United States Army security team stationed at Mariposa military base before the Great War. Followers of the Apocalypse, which are a humanitarian organization based in New California. Their ideals are focused on providing services to those in need, namely medical care and agricultural development. The Unity, which is the military and political organization created by the Master to push his agenda. The Master desires to forcefully evolve humans into a single, perfect race, removing the inequalities that are the cause of strife among humans. To this end, he used the Forced Evolutionary Virus FEV on humans to transform them into what we now know as supermutants or other mutated creatures that we'll encounter in-game. The Unity is supported by another faction called the Children of the Cathedral, which is a religious branch of the unit. Besides those, there are various trader companies, raider groups, and the mercenary units that we'll encounter in-game. Each one has a specific history, and the amazing part of this game is that we will learn a lot about those groups of people for the upcoming games in the franchise as well, where they will either appear again or be mentioned by other people. Besides Vault 13, there are various other locations that we will explore through the post-nuclear lands of Southern California. Imagine that we can explore other vaults like Vault 15 or the big post-nuclear desert, which will lead us to the towns of Shady Sands, Junktown, and not only those. We will also be able to travel to the main training city, the hub, and other peculiar places like the Cathedral, the Glow, Mariposa military base, and many others. Now that we've taken a glance of the world of Fallout 1, let's get to our protagonist's path, the Vault Dweller. The Vault Dweller was one of the hundreds of inhabitants of Vault 13, and their journey began when the water purification chip that the Vault relied on to create fresh water broke down. Without spare parts or the possibility of repairing the chip, the Overseer of the Vault, Overseer Jack Run, gathered everyone, and by pure chance the Vault Dweller drew the short straw, and he was sent out to find a replacement chip. The Dweller leaves the Vault on the 5th of December 2161. With no tools except for the Pip-Boy 2000, which keeps track of map making, quest objectives, and various bookkeeping aspects, and the vault suit that barely offers any protection, the Vault Dweller had to explore to get out of the vault through a very dangerous cave system just to find out that the world is a total desert-like ruin. The Vault Dweller will meet many enemies in their path, from mutated rats to dangerous raiders or even gigantic super mutants. But that doesn't stop him from reaching his goal, the water chip. Depending on how we explore the areas in game, we can either find the small settlement of Shady Sands or even Vault 15 or the Raiders camp. The important place is Shady Sands, where we will meet some possible allies that will help us in the quest of finding the functional water chip. Throughout the game, we are also stressed by a time limit. If we don't find the chip within 500 days, we will get a bad ending. Throughout the Vault Dwellers adventure, we will meet all sorts of people, from honest merchants and traders who want to make a living out of bartering, to raiders who only want to loot and plunder, to members of the Hub's criminal enterprise, the Underground, and many others. We will also meet the Brotherhood of Steel Paladins in the Lost Hills, and if we choose to help them, we have to go to the very dangerous and radioactive area named the Glow to fulfill a quest for them. The followers of the Apocalypse can be met as well in our adventure, and we can choose to help them with their chores, and they'll help us against the Cathedral if we ally ourselves with them. There are also the indoctrinated people in the Cathedral who aid the Master in his sinister plans, and the ghouls in the Necropolis who might help us or not, depending on our choices. We can choose to ally ourselves with almost anyone, or just aid them for our own purpose and then betray them. The choice is only ours. The game ending reflects our choices throughout the story, so based on that, we'll get a different cutscene. The making of this video was very pleasant and also a bit painful, because I really wanted to share as many details as I could, but the Fallout universe is very big and complex and I couldn't mention everything. But if you want to learn more, I recommend that you check out the fandom page of Fallout. It is very well documented and has all the information that you need. Also, if you want a fast answer, I will answer any question in the comment section, so don't be shy and ask me anything if you want to know more. Thank you for watching. I will post a new video each Wednesday. Also, I'm streaming on Tuesday and Thursday at twitch.tv/morehandwolf from 7 PM East European Standard Time. So if you want to see more content, make sure to check that out as well. Stay safe out there. Wolf out.